In this show today, we explore the intersection between cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. We're going to look at the strengths, the opportunities, and what Nigerians can do about this. On the show, we have Mr. Moses. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We have Precious Mercy.
Thank you for having me.
So from what I understand is basically cybersecurity is the protection of our network, computers, and everything else, and making sure that nobody is able to take advantage of that. Now, the question I have now is, should we be worried? Because from what I've noticed, like every day there is a new advancement in artificial intelligence, and it's making this hacking business that we always hear about, it's making it more accessible. Should we be worried as an average Nigerian? Should you be worried? What do you think, Mr. Moses? Should you be worried?
So I think instead of being worried, we should be conscious, because worry doesn't solve a problem, but consciousness drives you to doing the right thing. Now, doing the right thing, like upscaling, because it's just like an athlete. Someone comes for a competition this year, doesn't win, and he probably wins the next year. The difference is he probably trained better. So we need to be abreast with the changes or the evolution, even within the artificial intelligence space, so that we can be better equipped to deal with the possible threats around it. Okay.
There is that growing need for young people to actually go into cybersecurity and go into AI. As someone who is maybe a fresh graduate or someone who's about to go into university, Precious, do you have any advice for someone to look into this as a career path?
Thank you very much for that question. I think, thankfully, we're in a world where we are loaded with lots of information. Information is almost the cheapest thing you can get right now. And so you don't have to start, some people think of going for a master's degree and all of that. All of that is good, but you can start with, if you don't have the funds for that, or if you don't have the opportunity to start that, you can go on YouTube and pick up courses. I always say I'm a testament of that. My first ever actual cybersecurity teachings were learned on YouTube. I self-learned. I took the courses by myself, and I succeeded at the exams, and I'm where I am right now. So I think you can start where you are, start with what you have, go to YouTube, learn. There are free courses. There every now and then I see scholarships here and there for cybersecurity education, and feel free to reach out to people, shoot that shot, reach out to someone you think you could, use their mentorship, and you never know what could come from that.
I love what you just said. Starting where you are. Cybersecurity and AI space is more of a skill-based, that a lot of people are worried about certifications. Certifications are good. It says that you can do it, but I think getting that skill should come first. Mm-hmm. Mr. Moses, do you have anything to add to what she said? Because I think this is an ongoing question that a lot of young people keep asking. How do I get in? How do I get in? Yeah. I don't have a tech background, or I have a master's in philosophy or something else. Yeah. I think cybersecurity and AI is the future. What do I do?
Okay, so like she said, start from where you are. And also what you said, certification just validates knowledge. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, seek knowledge. So we see a situation where people want to just get certified, but they're not about the knowledge. Mm-hmm. So when you have the knowledge and then you get the chance to get certified, it's like a double-edged sword. So I would tell people to, first of all, seek knowledge, and that is and when I say seek knowledge, now there's also the part of knowledge overload. So you need to, first of all, be able to do some investigation. There should be a clear path. Like, for instance, I tell people, if you want to go into cybersecurity, you first of all need to learn the rudiments of networking. You don't need to go deep, but understand the rudiments. It's a connected world. We're talking internet protocol, IP addresses. If you don't even understand what that means, then how can you function in the cybersecurity space? So starting from the rudiments is like building a house. The foundation, you can't use a shallow foundation for a skyscraper. It will crumble.
So we don't have to go through the conventional or linear form of going to a school or academic setting. We just need to start where we are. So let's move the conversation a little bit towards, there's this concept called Sentinel, where they said, okay, artificial intelligence perhaps one day would take over everything of us and it basically would run. Do you think it's possible for AI, especially in this cybersecurity space that we are, for it to maybe go rogue, or people just set up autonomous agent and then they start to steal our money or maybe do something negative? Do you think it's possible, Precious?
I think right now, where we are, I don't think we've reached there yet. But, you know, if you told somebody 20 years ago about Claude, they probably wouldn't have believed you and believed the capacity or the capabilities that it has right now. So,
So just for the benefit of some of our viewers that may not know what Claude is, maybe you can explain what Claude is.
Claude is Anthropic's AI engine, and what it does is it has different models, and you could use it. You can't imagine the extent of what it can do. Like, it's replaced Google search, and you could write code with it. People are using, there's something called vibe coding, and there's also something called vibe hacking. So right now, you don't even need you don't even need, like, you know, deep skills or deep expertise in hacking to be able to hack, you know, into people's computers and things like that. So if you told people about this maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they probably wouldn't believe you about the capabilities that it has today. But we're here. So we're not there right now in the fact that AI could go rogue and make decisions by itself. But we don't know what the future holds. You know, there's quantum computing, and when I read about quantum computing and when I see things about quantum computing where you know, we're talking about encryption, right? It could override your encryption, and it's interesting times it's interesting times.
Just recently, we organized during the conference, we organized one vulnerability testing with AI, and I was just amazed that you could actually just things that you used to do manually. So before, for instance, what used to happen was you have to do it manually, the entire process of vulnerability to find out what are the weak spots within a system. But right now, you can just set up Claude, and the walkthrough is amazing what you can actually do. So on this basis, I want to ask Mr. Mo, do you think AI would actually take the jobs of cybersecurity professionals?
Okay, so it's a yes and no. Yes, for those that refuse to leverage on AI to enhance their jobs. No, for people that would actually use AI to enhance, you know, their jobs. So AI so the thing is, if you don't even have the base skill, you cannot get the desired results.
Okay.
So even as, for instance, a penetration tester, if you do not know what targets you want to get, if you don't even know what you want to achieve, if you have all the AI tools, you probably would not achieve anything reasonable in the end, because if you don't give the right prompts, it's still the concept of what you put in is what you get, you know. So if you don't put the right information, you won't get the right information. And why the base skill is good is, don't forget that there's also the tendency for AI to not be absolutely correct. So where it's not absolutely correct, where you have the base skill, you would be able to spot it out. So that's why I say it cannot absolutely take jobs. And even when we talk about another reason is, I mean, it's learning information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you say it can take jobs, okay, let's say it even takes up until 2026, and we've not updated, it doesn't have updated information in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it going to function properly if it doesn't even have that? So it's still human effort, human input that makes it be at a certain level of information.
So thank you for that. So what I understand is, first of all, we need to build a core competency before we start relying heavily on artificial intelligence. Just like you've mentioned, AI has a capacity to give you false information, false data. And when you're using it for cybersecurity or any other workflow, it's supposed to enhance it. And AI cannot really think for you. Rather, it accelerates your capacity. Let's look at some of the opportunities that lies in ahead of us in terms of AI, in terms of cybersecurity. When you look at the space right now, most of the solutions that are out there are either coming from China or from the Western world. Where do we stand in this? My question is, how can we develop some of these models, some of this, like we talk about the ChatGPTs, the Claude, all the big large language models that are used for AI? How can we, or what should be your advice so that Nigerians can start looking inwards and say, okay, within our limited resources, what can we do to harness these opportunities?
So I think we need to, first of all, start from the infrastructure level while we're trying to, yes, the models, and all of that. Why, again, it's important is too many times we're using solutions that were not built for us. Our terrain is different. So you want to fit, it's like fitting a round ball in a square box that is even smaller, So a lot of times we want to do things the way they do it, and it probably doesn't favor our environment. I'll give an instance. Even when it comes to, like, let's say, data protection, there are certain things that you'd see. I mean, of course, there's the type of data that shouldn't be domiciled outside the country and all of that. But the question is, on a larger scale, do we have the infrastructure to support that part of the act in practice? So where I think the rudiments, we need to go back at infrastructure level, and that would help while we're building solutions to suit our own needs.
So my understanding is you talked about the entire ecosystem, that yes, we can take advantage of it, but before we optimize it, there's certain things that we need to leverage on, which is building on the current existing infrastructure. And as we go along, we begin to key in at every strata of the opportunity that presents to us. Precious, do you have any thing to add to what he said, or maybe
so different? Very great point he raised. But aside from infrastructure, I think we need to also focus heavily on the culture. I think that for the most part of it, I think one of the problems we have is that maturity gap and the security culture in Nigeria and in this part of the world generally. I think we need to start actually, raising people that value cybersecurity. Most times if you work in cybersecurity, trying to sell cybersecurity to organizations, they don't really see the value of it except there's like a problem. Let's say they get hacked, or they lose money, or they have like some sort of reputational damage or something. So they don't really see the value of cybersecurity except there has been maybe a breach or something. So I think it's infrastructure, yes, but also enforcement of that cybersecurity culture.
I would like to have a point from you to summarize the intersection between AI and cybersecurity, where these two intersect. Just a closing statement.
Okay.
Mr. Moses.
So why security is important to AI is because of the capabilities of AI. And because of the capabilities of AI, if proper security is not put in place, just imagine, even with security, we see exploitations here and there. AI shouldn't function without proper security in place. If not, things can get out of hand. So so there's something called security by design. So one size doesn't fit all. So it means that for every infrastructure, every project, or every model, the security architecture might differ from the other. So we need to take, like you said, security more seriously, starting from the rudiments awareness and up until the more technical parts of having the right security design, even when it comes to AI, and understand that different models, different uses would have different types of security architecture, and that should be taken seriously.
So thank you for that. So what you said in summary is we need to have awareness first, then we begin to scale in terms of knowledge and to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that lie. So do you have anything to say in closing?
In terms of AI and cybersecurity, I think, like he said, they complement each other. And where the experts come in, I think before it was a matter of outscaling, but right now I think it's a matter of also outsmarting. If you read the feedbacks that we got from people who had tested out Anthropic, they are finding 27-year-old bugs. And yeah, they found a 27-year-old bug in open BSD. And imagine the fact that I'm sure developers have gone through that bug. They have tested it for 27 years and they were not able to find that bug, and AI could find that in seconds. So, right now, AI has to complement cybersecurity, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of like, you have to do it. And the thing about AI is that, just as you mentioned, cyberspace is now a proper domain. And as with every domain, there's the arms race, and there's the AI versus the AI arms race now. So where on one hand, you have the offensive agents attacking and then on the other hand, you have the autonomously defensive systems. So I think right now you have to, if you're slacking, if you're not catching up with AI. So yeah, it should complement. Yeah.
In closing, we've been discussing with Mr. Moses and Precious Mercy. Thank you very much for being here with us. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. Artificial intelligence is an industrial revolution affecting every single sector of the economy. And we need to be able to leverage it as cybersecurity professionals to enhance our work. Thank you very much for joining us.